Ladies and gentlemen, I am Melvin Banks.
This is Ito.
And we are
The Carbonation Conversation,
reviewing Marvel's Moon Knight Episode 4,
The Tomb.
And if you love the music in the background, love the audio editing and all of that good stuff, as we're about to introduce, I think probably next month we're gonna put out these new logos, at least replace them. Definitely check out MoBeats89 in the description below and on all platforms, and don't forget about his collaboration with Uran Kabashi, Smashing Buttons Volume 2, Beat Tape Heroes. Now, let's get into it, shall we? We got some young Modelo.
Modelo.
I didn't realize that this is the biggest selling beer in Chicago. I was like, what?
Really?
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, I didn't realize that. I mean, obviously, Modelo's good. It was always a little pricey, for that 12 pack. It's like $18.99. But
Happy New Beer.
Happy New Beer. And as always, definitely don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff on 3 specific platforms. We have the Facebook, we have YouTube, and we have Podbean as we continue to gain traction. In order for this motherfucking computer, when you search review, to come up with us, you gotta like, you gotta subscribe, follow, all of that good stuff. And if you do, this shout out is for you.
Shout out.
I was drinking a lot yesterday, so I was gonna be like, man, let me see, I'm gonna take this shot.
Yeah,
but
I was too.
Yeah, ooh, that's some strong shit.
Rum.
So, quick thoughts. What do you think about the episode?
Pretty tripped out.
Yeah.
Like when they did that straight up switch scene scenario, I was like, okay, now I just don't know what to think.
Yeah.
It was all good in the tomb and all that stuff. That shit was all cool as hell. But then when they went to the nut house shit, I was like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah, I did feel the same way. It kind of reminded me of one of your favorite shows, Legion.
Yeah, Legion.
Exactly. That's what came.
I got a little bit of that too.
It popped up in my head, but then I was kind of just like, man, we don't have time for this. Like, I don't know if we have time. Like, we got fucking 2 episodes left here. Like,
right. Like,
that was my only thing. I was just kind of like,
like, it's just more and more questions, more and more questions.
Yes.
First episode where there was not one shot of MoonKnight either. You know what I mean? Well, it ended with him getting turned into stone, so I kind of expected it. Yeah,
and I thought it was going to have like a more redemption episode. Like, okay, Mark Steven has to do this without the armor. You know what I'm saying? Do what they have to do, basically. I thought it was going to be kind of like that. No, it wasn't that. I'm not trying to shit on the episode.
I mean, it kind of was, but it was a show that couldn't really do anything. He ended up getting shot.
It was hard for me to take notes for this episode. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole cave scene was like majority of it, and then it flipped, and I didn't want to be like, oh, she turned left, and then she looked up, and then she was scared. So I was just like, Layla's Great Escape in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into it.
So it starts off basically with Osiris putting the stone figure of Khonshu in this wall, where apparently they have other stone figures.
They've been doing this a lot.
So they've been kind of, it's insinuated maybe, it's like the parents. You know how, in God's times, the children kill their own parents to take over all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
They say stuff like that. There was a couple names I've heard I can't think of right now. But also like how, in the room where they all gathered, there was several seats that weren't filled as well, so it makes you look at those stones as well. Maybe they didn't want to deal with their asses.
I'm interested to know, if you break them, will they just come back out, or do you have to do some sort of ritual to actually take them out of that prison?
Because I was thinking, we'll get to it at the end when Harold was with the statue.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, I am continuing. I know I said this shit last episode. Marvel intro credits. God damn, they're so good now. Geez, especially with the MoonKnight theme in the background. I fucking loved it. this is where I wrote Layla's Great Escape.
No.
So, because the next scene we have is Layla, and she's trying to wake up Steven slash Mark. Yeah, he's passed out
from the whole Khonshu thing with the sky. So there's some guys in some truck or
they got
Jeep
that big ass fucking
machine gun.
It was awesome. I had to switch from watching I had to watch it on my laptop. I couldn't see shit for the first half.
Really?
My TV, God. But yeah, so when I rewatched it, I was like, wow, Layla is she's a G. I mean, we're gonna get into later with the fight scene too, but God,
they're in the desert, so it's dark as hell. They can only see where they flash their lights. So she kind of like throws Steven's body down the hill, rolls it down. She rolls down, and to keep him away, there's another truck. She runs to she hides in the back and finds some flares.
Yeah, because they think he's dead. They find Steven. They're like, oh, he's dead. And I don't assume that they're looking for her, but she wants to keep them away from him.
Yeah, because in case he starts moving or they want to actually check on the body. Yeah. So she did a good old Indiana Jones.
Man.
With the flares, you know what I mean?
I love the theme of Moon Knight with the Egyptians. It's that Indiana Jones fucking mummy feel. Right. Because when they were in that tomb, because they're heading basically, Steven wakes up as she has this badass bow, but she throws the flare into the back of the ammo and just sparks are flying, blowing it up.
The bullets are going off. That's how the guys get shot. At the same time, you look like, damn, shouldn't she probably have gotten hit too?
Yeah,
But that's another one of those things. Like, is this all real? Is this fake? Is this fantasy?
I even saw the guy get out of the truck, and it was like, oh shit, it's fire. It's fire. Like the guy on top was fucked, but the guy in the truck, he's like, oh shit. And then next thing you know, Steven's just up in the background.
She's just standing up looking.
What? He's just like
what the hell just happened? Right.
So they head to
the tomb.
They're heading to the tomb. Meanwhile, Mark is like, "Hey, Steven, can I take over?
You should probably let me take over.
Yeah,
right now.
You're going on a suicide mission if you think you can solve this." Right. And hell, even Layla says the same thing. She's just like, "Hey, you don't want to let Mark take over right now?" And he's like, "Nah, me and Mark had an agreement. Once Khonshu was done, he was supposed to be out of here." Right. And Mark is just like, "Nah,
those things changed."
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's like, no. Do you see the situation that you're heading to the tomb? Like, I could have seen if you just went back to your job or some shit, but my dude, you're heading to the tomb. Right. You need me. But Steven's like, nah. Let's go ahead.
And then even Layla eventually says, you know what? Mark probably would have make this a one man army type of thing and try to take over. So you know what? We don't need him. You know what I mean?
I forgot when Steven tells her about the arrangement, she's like, damn, Mark didn't even tell me about this shit. She would have thought she would have told his wife. Right. And he's just like, well, I thought Steven asked, bro. Yeah, he's like, well, I thought he left you anyway. So and she's just like, oh, whatever. So they go down the tomb. They have a little moment before they go down because they see Harold's place. They're rummaging for supplies. And Steven...
they start like she's strapping Steven in. They climb down the little hole or whatever. And he's all like... He get all giddy and... he's falling for her and all that shit.
Yeah, he's definitely in love with her. They even kiss. He gives her the kiss.
At first, she went to kiss him and he stopped. And that's when he told her about
Khonshu.
That Mark's actually...
Happy New Beer to that.
New Beer. That Mark's actually trying to save you because Khonshu wants you as his next avatar.
Yes, and she does respond like, "Oh, it wasn't his choice to keep me." She does it, like any typical, unfortunately, sorry to say it, but any typical leading female character in most action movies or things like this, they don't need a man. You know what I'm saying? They cool. They don't need nobody to protect them, and that's what basically she says.
Right. Oh, I forgot to mention, there was one part that when they were driving to the thing where they saw that black goat.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like,
if that's not a warning to turn around.
And it's funny because Steven does say a couple of jokes. He's like, me and you on the road together. Then she stops. We're on foot here. And then when they get down, he's like, oh, after they kiss, they go down. He fucking hits the pavement. He does it all wrong. And then he goes up. He's just like, oh my God, you look good. And then Layla's like, oh. Right. And then she turns around. She's like, oh, the statue. The statue. Yeah, I was just like,
was it not the most awkward kiss ever though?
Oh my God. that I wish.
Right. On the mic.
What the fuck are you doing? Oh my God. Steven. Yeah, just look at you comment. Oh my God, this Oscar Isaac's multiple personalities are just awesome. So they basically start going through the tomb, and what Layla realizes is it's a maze.
Yes.
And so as they approach a certain area in the tomb, I believe they see the Eye of Horus sign on the ceiling. Is that what they see?
Well, apparently the structure they're in is designed of it. That's what he was drawing it.
Oh, okay.
He was looking up and drawing it.
Yeah, because I was like, how the fuck did he figure that out?
Yeah. I was kind of looking too. I had to kind of like read something for him. I'm like, where did he find this at? But apparently the room, the center of the maze, I guess, it's designed as that. So he was just following something up there, so that's why he flashed a light and it showed like the paths.
Yeah, so, and he was talking about the Eye of Horus as being like a real symbol of protection in the afterlife. I didn't know that about the Eye of Horus.
Nowadays, apparently it represents healing.
Well, all right.
But it's made up of five parts: thought, sight, hearing, smell, touch, and taste. So they decided to go to the route of taste, the tongue, because they say the avatar is the tongue of the god that they were talking about they was like the pharaoh was an avatar, and I was just like, okay, a little bit lost. Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. They're looking for Amos too, but it's like basically it's supposed to be with her final avatar or something, which was a pharaoh.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
And the pharaoh happens to be. We will continue that later.
Exactly.
But go ahead. So
they follow the path of the tongue, and then they go basically into this mummification chamber.
Yeah, and you see all these priests, and they were the sorcerers of the time.
Apparently, that's what they did. Well, that's what they when they buried pharaohs, they would put those priests with them for protection. Yeah,
and is it to protect the crypt so no one would loot it?
To protect the pharaoh. I don't know if it's maybe that, or maybe they wouldn't get far enough, but yeah, they were killed and mummified as well. So
in the after, wow, bro, that is not a job I want to sign up to. I thought, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you serious?
That's why they were undead.
Fuck.
So they're looking around the place, and you see like fresh blood and all that stuff. So they're like freaking out. And then they hear noise. Go ahead.
And it's funny because Steven's like, because Layla and Steven, it's like a Resident Evil video game where you see the blood trail. And you're like, I shouldn't go through this hall. And Steven even points, he's like, wait, I'm just pointing things out. You know, blood on the floor. Right. Seems like somebody's being dragged through that particular area. Maybe we should find another place to go. And Layla's like, you know what? She points at a structure up on top, and she's like, well, maybe you can go up there. He's like, me?
He's like, me?
She's like, yeah. And he goes up, and I fit. Does he find something, or do they hear? Is that when they hear something?
I mean, he sees stuff up there, and apparently he says what's up there is used for regeneration rituals.
Yes, because he sees a whole bunch of snakes, potions, all that shit.
But then they hear the noise, so he kind of ducks. She hides next to the table, whatever that's there.
They hear gunshots.
They're gunshots.
And they was like, why would Harold's people be shooting?
Exactly. Yeah. What would they be shooting at?
And now we're getting into the mummy here.
Yeah. So it's like the undead priest or whatever drags one of Harold's men's in there, throws him on the table, and starts gutting them.
Yeah. And it's funny because we'll get there at the end. Because I didn't notice the guy who was killed's face until I rewatched. I was like, oh, you're that guy from the asylum. I didn't realize that.
Well,
anyways.
The fake cop, wasn't it? With the black girl?
Fake cop with was it that too? Was it him too?
I think because he was in the asylum. Because and the girl.
Yeah.
The fake cop, yeah. They were like the orderlies.
Oh, God damn it, Happy New Year.
Everybody from the show was in that nut house.
Yeah.
But what tripped me out too was she was on the ground and hiding, and she knocked over that little jar. I only know this because of the movie The Mummy. Those little jars.
Yes.
That they contain like the organs and stuff.
You shouldn't open this tomb. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And they were called canopic jars.
Oh, and that's where they put the organs,
They put the organs in there. Yeah, that's what, remember in the movie, he had to go get the Americans who had them.
Yeah.
And basically replace his organs with theirs.
I fucking love The Mummy, man. It stands the test of time. Did you hear that Brendan Fraser may be returning? They are talking.
He's gonna be in some Marvel or DC.
I heard that too. I definitely heard that too.
He's already in the robot in the one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I heard he's good. Yeah. I've listened to Brendan Fraser's story, and I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah.
But it is definitely an awesome comeback story for him,
Really
as far
is.
as how Hollywood is concerned.
It really is.
But yeah. But anyways, Layla is literally hiding from this thing. She makes a sound. She ends up breaking, running, and they get split up basically.
Yes.
Layla and Steven. Steven ends up. Do you want to talk about the Steven tomb, or do you want to talk about the battle between Layla and the priest?
I think that starts off first, right?
Yeah. So they fucking fighting, and Harrow ass is across the way, just like, you know what? Let me take a seat.
Well, yeah. It was funny, you know. She's climbing across the thing, which is another little pit kind of thing. Indiana Jones,
like Tomb Raider and shit.
Yeah, Tomb Raider. Things that look like kind of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, then you see the little hint of the undead priest in the back, and then all of a sudden it was that snatch. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and then she runs, and then they snatch her back.
Snatch her back.
Oh, that was
And there's a couple seconds, and then Bushi comes out with one of the arms of the priest ripped off and stuff.
Yeah, I thought she was at least gonna have a couple of blood marks on her face or some scratching, but yeah, the priest comes out and he went full Chucky mode.
Right.
You remember that Child's Play 2 and 3 when Chucky got the knife and he's just like and she's dodging this shit. Harold is just like, can I get some popcorn?
Right, he's
like, this shit is
chilling.
good. This is some good shit right here. And she ends up rolling over off the cliff. Now here's what I thought. I was like, oh, she went down, but she landed on top of him,
Well, of course.
It's unrealistic, but I'll buy it.
Yeah.
But no, she's actually hanging on, pulls herself up.
She put a flare in his eye, and that's what took the advantage, threw him over, that she was hanging. But yeah, climb back up, and then like you said, Harold just started, trying to convince her. Then
he's like, I'm impressed. He said something along those lines. He's like, man, you did good.
You did good.
He's like, and then she walks off. She's like, fuck you. I ain't got time for this. And then he starts talking to her in what I can only assume is Egyptian.
The what?
He starts talking to her in a fucking language.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably Jeff.
Yeah, but basically what he's saying is, this is what your dad used to call you. He said a little scarab in that specific language makes her stop, come back, and they have a conversation. And fucking Ethan Hawke, man, I can't say anything more about him. He is amazing. He basically tells her something along the lines that Ahmed's power grants him the ability to receive sin, not necessarily feel it.
Yeah.
Feel sin, and when just some fucked up shit is just happening, and he feels it a lot in Steven and Mark. And basically, bottom line, he tells Layla that he has something to do with your father's death.
Yeah.
He doesn't say it, she says it. She's like, are you telling me he has something? He's like, well, you said it, not me. Did you ask him?
Right.
And so by this point,
because he basically telling her he was there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And at this point, I guess we are going back to Steven.
Yes.
And he is, he's following, his trail, and he ends up in an area where he sees a tomb.
He starts reading it and realizes it's in Macedonia. Was it Macedonian?
Yeah, Macedonian.
Macedonian.
Yes.
Damn.
I got Happy New Beer. Happy New Beer.
I couldn't think of the damn word. I'm like, wait, what was it again? I haven't took history in so long.
Yeah, that man. It's so funny because now I'm so interested in this shit, like Vikings, like all this history. Like, we gotta go see that Northland movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now I'm just like, damn, as a kid, I wasn't interested in this shit at all.
But yeah, it just tripped out to find the Macedonian language in an Egyptian, burial or
he's like,
whatever.
The only guy that I know, this can't be. It can't be. He's like, I think this motherfucking tomb is Alex the Great. And as soon as he said that, I was like, really?
I was like, what?
Let me Google Alex the Great. And it's funny because I put Alex filled out. This fucking episode had everybody said, where is his tomb? Apparently, they said it was originally in one place, don't know the name, sorry, and then they took it and then they buried it in Alexandria,
they say,
but they don't know where it is. So I was like, holy shit. Okay,
Yeah,
you know, I'm working with you here.
You know, he had built one of the biggest kingdoms ever, from Europe to India.
And I'm sorry,
you know,
but your movie was horrible.
No, not talking about the movie. But it's funny, and then they basically, it's cool how they used that. Like, damn, that's kind of like the perfect person to use. Man, he loved Egyptian lore. He wanted to be called a pharaoh, and all that stuff. And just for him to do all this damage and all this, is like, damn, he had the power of Ammit. That's how he rose to power. You know what I mean? It makes you think. It's kind of crazy.
Hey, you know what? I didn't even connect those dots. That's some good shit, Ito.
Oh,
yeah. And he's like, for all intents and purposes, I should not open this fucking tool. Like, everything is telling me not to do this. But he does. He opens it. And basically what he finds is Alex the Great, at least what we assuming is him. He got his golden axe, baby. Like, man, it was chromed out. And then he's like,
there's this golden scarab necklace, the wings open.
Man.
The axe apparently used to cut the, what's it called? I wrote this down because it was pretty tripped out.
Go ahead.
The Gordian knot.
What the fuck?
It's some major thing he did.
Look, man, this dude, as Ito was looking this up, because Steven is looking at this. Can I call it a sarcophagus? Is that okay? Yeah. It is okay. He's looking at the sarcophagus and he's like, oh, you know, maybe it's the tongue. And Mark is actually talking to him at this point too, and he's just like, I gotta go in. And he opens the sarcophagus mouth and he goes in elbow deep, and Mark is like, dig it in. I'm just like, and wouldn't it be such a mummy trope for the thing to just move? And it's like, oh, you know, I thought it was gonna happen, but it didn't happen. Did you find anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw the Gordian knot. There's a knot tied by Gordius, king of Phrygia, held to be capable of being untied only by the future ruler of Asia. And basically Alexander just sort of sliced that shit.
Hey, he said fuck it, huh? Yeah. Hey, that's one way, right? There's more than one way to skin a cat. Man, that's interesting, bro. Like, that's crazy. If you can untie a knot, you can be the king of the kingdom. You can be the ruler, the emperor, bro. Man, why can't they do shit like that these days? Like, whoever can untie this knot can be president. Anyways. Sorry, man. I have no idea. I think I'm coming up with a little something. But anyways, so he reaches out and he actually pulls out the same, like, figurehead, I guess you could say.
Basically,
same mini statue as like Kanju. And I was just like, at this point, what does he do with it? Like, that's what I was saying. Like, does he throw it on the ground and then boom? Yeah. Like, but at this point, not Harrow. Harrow hasn't showed up yet. Layla comes, and Layla is just, she already heard about Harrow telling her, you know, something happened between Mark and her father. So she, you know, Steven is very excited. He's even joking. You know what I'm saying? Like, but Layla ain't going. And she basically says, I want to talk to Mark. I want to know about my father. And this was one of the most tripped out things to me. Steven ass bailed so quickly. Instantly. Like, fuck this. I know, I was like, really? Okay, you bitch. I know if I was Mark, I would have been like, really, motherfucker? Anyways, Mark comes and he's like, we gotta go. As soon as he comes, he's just like, no, we can't talk here. I will explain everything. I will tell you the truth.
She's just like, no.
She's like, tell us now. And basically what he says is he had a partner.
So he said, I didn't kill him. I had nothing to do with it.
Partner went rogue apparently and killed everybody, including himself, and he should have died that day, but obviously that is when Kanju saved him. So you were correct in your theory. Steven is not a real person, right? Unfortunately. I love Steven. But yeah, he's not a real person. No. It's Mark. This has been Mark's body from day one, and that's what happened because he was actually with Layla's dad. Guy got greedy, killed everybody, took I'm assuming the shit
Right.
that they found. And Layla feels like you have been trying to pay that debt back by being with me ever since. I thought she was going to take it another route. I thought she was going to say, you've been trying to find out where this shit is, and you have been using me. No, she didn't take it that route at all. I was like, oh, okay, interesting.
And apparently that his partner who did all the killing was remember the cell phone he found, Steven found, that had that one different name besides Layla?
Yeah.
That person was supposed to be probably so remember I talked about it. He's like a French mercenary.
Yeah.
He apparently is supposed to be that partner.
Oh, huh. Interesting if we'll see him in the next 2 episodes. But yeah, at this point, Harrow and his boys walk in, you know, and Harrow is just like, man, doesn't it feel great to not have Kanju in your head? He's like, oh, the silence. It's just it's just you. Yeah. It's just you. and basically he's just like, hand it over. You know, I need you to hand it over. And Mark don't got nowhere to go. Right. You know, Layla is pretty much hiding off to the side. You know, do they even know she's there at this point? I can't remember. Yeah, and bottom line is, Mark goes fucking, I don't want to say he goes rogue, but I guess he's just like, fuck it at this point.
Just goes out with a fight, I guess.
No, I was just like, what were you trying to achieve?
He maybe thought they were going to kill him anyway.
Because he takes 2 shots to the chest. Yeah. And Harrow is the one who shoots him, and he basically dies.
Yeah, he falls into this pool of water, and then all of a sudden he starts descending, and it shows him descending down, I guess, afterlife or whatever.
And I thought MoonKnight was going to come, and I thought Kanju was going to somehow use some type of alternate power that he didn't know he had, some fucking connection. Boom, he's back. No. Nope. He wakes up heavily sedated.
At first, it's not even that. It switches to we're watching that movie.
Oh yeah,
on the screen.
You're right. Yeah,
which is called Tomb Raider, and they actually called a guy in there Steven, Dr. Steven Grant. You know what I mean? So this is crazy. And then it kind of goes out, and you see Mark heavily sedated, like you said, on a wheelchair.
Yeah, and we're taking a look around. We don't know what the fuck is going on. You know, totally white room. They're doing bingo. You know, they put him next to what I believe is a window. And this is Mark, and he's just like, Steven, you know, he's sedated, so he can barely move his mouth. He's like, Steven, and he doesn't see Steven, and so he starts freaking out, gets out of the wheelchair, and then he realizes he is handcuffed by one leg to the wheelchair. Yeah. Next thing you know, he's being transported to...
And you're right. And everybody you see is somebody that was in the first few episodes, wherever, like the statue guy Crowley was calling bingo out. Mm-hmm. He had the hat out just like he was holding the hat as a statue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? His co-workers, boss, they were all patients in the background. Like we said, the cops were the orderlies. Mm-hmm. Even freaking Harrow is the guy in charge, the psychiatrist. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Then you see even Layla come up. And apparently it was a little... Easter egg. She had this band-aid on her pinky with a scarab. Apparently she might become some hero later called the Scarlet Scarab.
Well, all right. Yeah, and we see he has MoonKnight. He has a MoonKnight figure.
He has a MoonKnight figure, right? An action figure.
Yeah, it's really, really tripped out. He's brought to Harrow.
Right.
Which seems like he's a therapist, psychologist, whatever you want to call it.
And there's so much things in the background in his office that you see that reminds you of everything that you've seen in the first few episodes. So in the town he was in when he first woke up in the ground with the broken jaw or whatever, you know, all the Egyptian stuff, and you know, just crazy. Yeah, and Harrow's talking to him, and Harrow's just basically trying to say, all this is in your head, basically. You know, we need you to come back. We need you to, this is reality, you know. Yeah. And at the same time, the background is getting more Egyptian-like. Every time he goes back to Mark's background, it's just getting more intense. Like, are you seeing more Egyptian shit to the point where he breaks out? Like, he literally breaks out of the office. You shot me. Yes. The one guy that got killed by the fucking priest, he's holding him, and the other guy's holding him. He punches the guy, bites the other guy. He's running out, and then he goes in a room
And he hides in there, and then he sees a fucking tomb, and the tomb is just like, "Let me out!" Somebody screaming, "Let me out!" He opens his fucking Steven.
So it's like first time you see Steven and Mark actually in the same room.
And they're so happy to see each other. I was more shocked at that than anything. I was like, okay. And he's like, "Yeah, we gotta get out of here." And so they pass another room with a tomb
that is shaking,
beating. I was just like, that's the other personality. Let me see him.
But nope.
Continue to run, and then you get busts out of a fucking door. What is that, Edo? Please tell me. Because I was going to be like, bro, if that's Emmett. Hi. I swear to God, Harold's going to be like, really? Like, if you know what I'm saying? Like, if the other world is true, he's shot, he's dead, he's in this other world, purgatory type shit, and that's Emmett, I'm laugh so fucking hard, like Harold's gonna be so bad.
The name of that god is Taweret.
Okay. Tell me something.
The goddess of fertility and childbirth.
Was it a elephant?
She was a hippopotamus.
I thought it was a hippopotamus.
And that's what the odd thing to me is when I looked this up. Remember, we're talking about how the Amit's it's alligator, lion legs, and hippopotamus back. Apparently, Taweret is hippopotamus in the front, legs of lion, and alligator back. So it's like the opposite of Amit. I don't know what they have to do with each other, because it's like she's the goddess of fertility, and this guy, the Amit's a goddess of devouring the unworthy, basically. After they die. So it's kind of tripped out. So we got to see how it fits. Or what, but yeah.
I don't know about that, man. That last scene. I mean, it's just it was shocking to me, because it's like, oh my god, CGI Howard the Duck like shit. Like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, 2 episodes left. Okay.
Yeah, apparently the producers are saying the last 2 episodes are mind blowing.
Oh my. Okay. This whole entire show. I don't want to say mind blowing, and I want to say mind blowing. I don't know if I'm saying mind blowing in a good or bad way yet. This is still processing.
Yeah, I
you know. What I'm saying?
It just gets me more upset that there's only 6 episodes, like only 2 left now.
Yeah.
And they're already talking about, they already released how long the next episode will be. Like 47 minutes, which is the shortest of all of them. I'm like, really? And usually the second to last episode is usually the best episode.
Yeah.
Most action-packed episode,
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like most shows, like even when you recommend it, Melvin, check out this show. You watch the first 2 episodes, you be like, okay, either you're sold or you're not.
Right.
This, I don't know.
Right. Like if you weren't reviewing it, you don't even know if you would have kept watching it.
No, I'm a finisher. Yeah. Well, actually, no, I'm not. Not when it comes to series. I can't say that, but I try. I think I still would have, because I want to give Marvel the respect that they deserve. Yeah. So I definitely would have finished it. But it's just like, what the fuck? Like, okay, you know what I'm saying? I just don't know. Like, I see it being like Khonshu, you know what I'm saying, looking all badass with the CGI, and then I see this, and that's the end, and it's just credits, and you're just like, what? Anyways, one last happy new beer for the road. Don't drink and drive. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Melvin Banks.
This is Edo.
We are the Carbonation Conversation. Thank you for listening to Marvel's Moon Knight episode 4.
The Circle.
I love it when we fuck up at the ending, because I think it's just so original. Drinking vibe. Don't drink and drive. We love you.
The Tomb.
Peace.